here I am in the middle of frickin' nowhere. Like, I'm on a lake, stuck in a swamp. I'm having a bit of a moment in the last 10 minutes of like, a what am I doing moment? I don't know. This just isn't ideal, is it? I'll see you in the morning if this night is uneventful, which I hope it's uneventful. See you in the morning. Good morning. It's 5:10. To be honest with you, that night wasn't too bad, considering. The wind is a bit less than yesterday so far. The forecast is for 17-kilometer winds, and then it's meant to drop a little bit more at 8 o'clock, and then it's going to pick up to 25 to 30 at around lunchtime. So the best chance I have is right now. I'm not really comfortable, to be honest with you, because when you've got that strong wind for a few days, you know, it could easily just kick the swell up. There could be a bit of waves out there. Ideally, I want to go south, dead south from where I am. That's the shortest path to land. But the wind is coming from the west, and the swell is coming from the west. So it's not going to be easy, because that'll be hitting me on the side, and that's what's dangerous. So I either need to aim southwest so that I go in a straight line south, which that would be really hard because I'm paddling into the swell and into the wind a bit more, or I go south and end up going southeast. There's some islands there that are about 7 miles away, so it's twice the distance. I mean, I'm going to try to go south. I'm going to try to hit that land that's only 3 miles away. That would be dangerous if I try too hard to hit that land and have that wind and the swell. So I'm going to make that decision once I get into it. I haven't seen anyone. I was here most of the day yesterday, and there's no boats coming past. I just keep thinking I should never have left Pine Bluff, the camp that I was in front of the red house. If I did do that, at least I wouldn't be in this position, sleeping in the plants, sleeping in the reeds, surrounded by mosquitoes. I'm still behind the island that I slept on, but I'm just about to poke my nose out of the side of it. Then we're going to really see what the wind is doing. But right now, it looks okay. There's no white caps that I can see, so I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to point dead south and get as far south as I can. And if there ends up being some swell, that's a problem for me. Then at least I can get I've got a little bit further south, and I can point a little bit more to the east, and then that swell should be behind me. I'm a bit nervous, and is it justified? I don't know, we'll see. Again, everyone just tells me to be very, very, very careful. So, I'm going into this listening to other people. I might get to the other side and think, oh, that was easy. Who knows? But let's see. We've committed. So far it's a little bit rough, but there's no whitecaps. So that means the forecast was right. I asked a friend who's monitoring my progress. There's no buoys in this lake to get an idea of swell height and things, but in Lake Winnipeg there is. So he said that in Lake Winnipeg it's reading 0.7 meters is the swell. That would probably be accurate for here too. Probably on average. There's a few that seem a little bit bigger and some a little bit smaller. Like that one there's a bit bigger, the one that just crashed behind me. But if it stays like this, it's doable. It's slow going. I'm going about 2.5 miles an hour. The wind and the swell is hitting me on the side. But I'm aiming in the right spot. I'm heading dead south, which is the shortest distance to land. So you can see that I'm pointing here, but actually that's the direction I'm going. You can see the point over there. I've got Navionics open on my phone in front of me. So I'm pointing pretty far into the wind, but actually that's where I'm going to get to, is that point if I stay on this line. How nice is that sunrise behind me? So every now and then, as I'm going, like every now and then there's a couple of big sets. There's kind of 3 in a row that are decent. When they come, I have to turn into them. I've had 2 of them hit me on the side. And it gives me a bit of a shake, and it just puts water all over my canoe. I haven't felt like they're big enough to really rock me, like to really tip me. This is a real stable canoe. It's a bit of a tank. There's one of them now. Go. Yeah, a lot of the time on this trip I've been in some rough water and I've never even felt like tipping. There was the one time that I did tip, but that was because of a big ledge. It's a very stable canoe. Slow, but stable. So I was going dead south, trying to get as close as I can to land, but now that I've been out here I'm a bit more comfortable and I've turned further east, so now I'm going southeast. It's a bit easier, the swell's not directly hitting me on the side, it's sort of hitting my back quarter, and the wind is in the same spot, just hitting me right here. So if anything I'm going a little bit faster and more in the direction that I want to go. Also, there's a landmass. I can see in front of me here, obviously there's trees and things, so there's a landmass, but you can also see it going all the way around. And maybe it links up with that point. And I don't want to go all the way over there and then find out that I have to come all the way back. So I'm pretty comfortable now that I'm out here to hold this line while the wind is like it is. So the wind is meant to pick up, like I said earlier, about lunchtime, so I'm going to take advantage of this wind. You know, it's a good wind, it's maybe 15 kilometers an hour. I'm going to take advantage of it and try to get as far as I can using it behind me. So hopefully when I get around this island, I think it's an island, some sort of landmass. So we'll see soon though, not far away, maybe about a mile.
Cedar Lake is a man-made lake. This whole area was flooded when they started building the dam in Grand Rapids in 1960. Before that, the Saskatchewan River continued into Lake Winnipeg. In some areas, you can still see the edge of the riverbanks where the river once ran. The dam's construction actually flooded ancient burial grounds and 500,000 acres of wildlife habitat. It also forced the Chimawau Cree Nation to relocate in 1962, which they now call Easterville.
Just going to take this bug jacket off. How good is it when a plan goes to plan? I was kicking myself yesterday for having to sleep in the reeds. I don't have any reception, otherwise I'd tell you exactly what kind of plants I was sleeping in. But yeah, last night I wasn't in a good place, you know. I was just like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? I'm sleeping outside, covered in mosquitoes, in a swamp. And then, honestly, right now, it was all worth it. If I had woken up this morning at the cabin, the Red House cabin camp that I was at the night before, I'd still be there now. And I'd either be packing up camp or I would be sitting there questioning, what shall I do? You know, it worked out. And it worked out because I just did something. I took a step and just like, you know what, let's just give this a go. Was it ideal for a little portion of the time? No, absolutely not. It wasn't ideal. In the end, it was probably the best move that I could have done. Now the wind is pretty gentle behind me. It's maybe, I want to say like 8 or 9, 10 kilometers, maybe a little more. About 8 knots, I reckon, about 8 to 9 knots. It is meant to pick up throughout the day.
I want to explain why I'm all over the place with my measurements. Sometimes it's kilometers, sometimes miles, then it's knots. There are a few apps that I use that all have different units of distance and speed. And when I don't have reception, I get sent a weather update from a friend. And I get that update in whatever unit they send it in. So I'm all over the place with that. You just gonna have to bear with me. I know what I'm saying, and that's the main thing, I guess.
I'm out here now, and those initial nerves that I had this morning of, you know, kind of the unknown, like what's it gonna be like when I get out here, has gone. This is probably where the Saskatchewan River used to run, because Cedar Lake is a man-made lake. They flooded this area. They put a dam in at the end here at Grand Rapids. And so right here, that I'm about to enter, this is just this random bit in the middle of the lake that obviously used to be the Saskatchewan River. But because they've flooded it now, it's only just the mounds either side of where the river used to be. So that's why it's pretty calm where I am. And then I have to get around this. I'm going to get in, through it, and then pop out the other side. And then this should be protecting me from the swell. And then the wind behind me, it should be quite nice for, I don't know, maybe an hour after I get out of this. And then maybe some swell might show up. That's my guess. Anyway, the original plan was to get to the mainland and just follow the land around, and therefore being protected by the wind. But I just figured that each time I get to a sort of like a different spot, like say that southern point that I was aiming for, then to make a new plan, to reassess, make a new plan. So I just got to that spot back there where I was in amongst the reeds in the middle of the lake, and there's another island here that is 5 miles away. So I just look at that and I think, okay, shall I island hop 5 miles, you know, like what's the weather doing? So I just reassess, and I've decided to island hop. I'm going to aim for the north end of There's an island here in the lake, and if I do that, it cuts out a lot of miles. Oh, when I say a lot, it cuts out like 5, which is a lot for me. Then I'm going to get to this island, get around the back of it, and then I'll be sheltered, and then reassess again. Where's my next point? I've got the umbrella up now. It's not doing much, but it is adding a couple of points to my miles. So last night I messaged the guy TJ, and he runs, I think it's called Pine Grove Cabins in Grand Rapids. And I messaged him last night when I was in all those reeds, and I just said, hey look, I'm not in any danger, you know, I'm okay, but I said, do you know somebody who has a boat just in case this wind doesn't die down and I'm stuck here? He just responded now saying that there's a boat on its way coming to get me, and so I've messaged him like, no, cancel. I wasn't asking for help, I was more getting information in case of a worst case scenario. I was just getting getting things in order. Hopefully he hasn't sent them, because I'm not there anymore, and you know, I'm halfway across the lake. I'd like to paddle it, even though a ride in the boat would be a lot easier. So I just messaged TJ and I said, please cancel the guys. I don't need help. I sent him my location just to say, hey look, you know, this is where I am. And he replied, okay, no worries, the boys are going to stop in anyway and check in on you, and if you need, they can take you anywhere you need to go, to one of the camps, the other side of the lake, back into town, into Easterville. I don't know, what do you reckon? It's pretty freaking tempting, eh? Pretty tempting just to be like, yeah, take me to town. So the wind has shifted to a southerly. So I was going to go, there's an island here to my right, and I was going to go around the bottom side of it and use the westerly wind that was this morning to get over to the bottom side, and then I'd be sheltered by the westerly. But now I've had to change the plan and go basically on the western side of the island and use the southerly to get north, and then I'll be sheltered by the island once I turn the corner. And then I'm using the wind now. I've got the umbrella up and I've got the swell behind me, the wind behind me, and I'm touching 4.5 knots at times, which is pretty good. That's 4.5 knots, so that's probably close to 5.5 maybe miles per hour. So yeah, as the weather changes, so does my plan. So far it's working out, and it's only 9 a.m. I've been paddling now for 3.5 hours. I feel like I've covered a lot of ground, and it's only 9 a.m. Usually my day's just starting now. So it could be a pretty big day, depending on the wind. When I come around this island, I'm gonna have to cross to the next landmass, and I'll be dealing with that southerly. So there's times when it'll speed me up, and there's times it's gonna really slow me down. But at the moment, we're on track for a really, really good day. Bald eagle. It's only about 9:30, but everywhere I go, I look at potential campsites. Just there looks pretty good. Nice, calm, out of the wind. when you're out of the wind, it's so beautiful and peaceful. I don't know if you guys can see, I don't know if the camera's picking up, but there's so many dragonflies. It's like all, as far as you can see, there's so many of them. I've never seen so many. So I've just come around the northern point of this island, this bad boy, and now I'm going to cross this next section. Is a 2-mile section, maybe a bit more, maybe 3. And this time I've got the wind pretty much in my face. It's just coming from here and the swell coming from there too. So this one will be interesting. I think I'm going for that gap there. You can see a gap in between those 2 land masses. I think that's the mainland and that's the island. I think I'm going to go between them. That's the plan. Yeah, I started at the very beginning of Saskatchewan River. It's in the Rocky Mountains. Yeah, long way. Huh?
What's your name?
Tom.
Tom.
Yeah. You guys work in yeah.
I'm seeing a brush here.
Oh yeah.
Okay. This is our own land.
Yeah.
This is where our ancestors used to live.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, there's a monument right here.
And do you live on the islands too when you work?
Yes, we have our camp over there.
On a different island or this one?
Oh, yeah, it's connected to where we camp.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna go 5 more hours. 5 more miles.
More or less.
You're alone?
Yeah.
Where are you originally from? Yeah.
New Zealand.
We down New Zealand. The battle going. Why, I must have a lot of weed.
Before this trip, I never canoed in my life. This is the first time ever.
Oh,
So it's been good. Been learning a lot.
yeah. Why alone?
My goal is to get to Montreal, and to get to Montreal will take me 8 months, 7 or 8 months. So nobody wants to take 7 or 8 months. Only me.
It must have been a bitter breakup.
Oh, well, I'm going to keep going. Maybe I'll make it to Easterville today. Maybe.
Why don't you go on a shore like that?
It's faster, eh, to go through there?
Well, I hope they see us. Yeah, where that boat came from? They came from Easterville.
Isn't Easterville this way?
No, that way.
That way. All right. Catch you later. Thank you. Good morning.
Ahoy there, ahoy. So you're the stressed man.
Wow.
From what?
No, I messaged him. I messaged what's his name, TJ, last night because I was stuck at Kettle Island. You know, the wind yesterday was really strong, you know, so I couldn't cross, and I thought Kettle Island, I thought I could camp there, but there's nowhere to camp. Yeah, and so I messaged him last night. I said, hey, look, if the wind's strong again today, I'm stuck. Yeah. So, but luckily this morning the wind just died enough for me to cross.
If you want to catch a ride with us, you can take you back.
How would we get it on the roof? Well, or no, in the middle.
Yeah, let's put it on here. That's your room. Just to take you back to Easterville. Just to be on the safe side, man. I don't really trust this lake. It's really big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When are you going back?
We're looking for you.
Are you going back now?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought these
It's
guys...
up to you if you wanna. Can't force you, but
Well, I mean, I'd probably take you up on it. They said they were waiting for you though, is that not true?
yeah. Well, another boat coming.
Oh, okay.
Bringing some stuff for you to cut here.
Oh.
Food and stuff like that for them.
Let's do it then.
Yeah, we'll load up on the shoulder. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yep.
Okay, so there's people that patrol this lake because there's workers that are staying out on the islands. They're clearing all the vegetation, all the dead bush, and they move it to the shoreline and then burn it later, I think, just so it doesn't catch fire over summer. And so there's a patrol here, and he just stopped in and just said that he doesn't trust this lake and that it's going to be picking up. And he said it's already started to pick up in the middle, and he said he'd feel much better to give me a ride a bit further down to Easterville. I'm not far from Easterville anyway, I'm only 10 miles away, so I'm going to take him up on that. I think I've earned it as well, you know. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. I'm Tom anyway.
Keith.
Keith?
Yeah. Earl Easter.
Earl Easter?
Yeah.
Pleasure. Thank you for your help.
Yeah, no problem.
So as I mentioned, there are people working out here on these islands. They're clearing the dead trees, piling them up, and burning them when it gets closer to winter. And it's all paid for by the hydroelectric board, as it also stops trees from drifting down and blocking the dams. There was definitely a big part of me that felt guilty about catching a ride in the boat. But these guys know the land, the lake, and the weather very well. So if they tell me it's going to get rough, I'm going to listen. And I'm glad I did, because on the way to Easterville, the weather really changed. They ended up taking me the whole way to Grand Rapids. They recommended it as the best or safest thing to do. Plus, they were happy doing it.
Thank you. Wow, you guys saved me like 4 days. Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Not yet, I haven't called anyone. I'll call the hydro dam. Really?
Yeah. I'll take you to the launch over there.
Ah. Alright, once again, another amazing Canadian story. So I just arrived here at Pine Grove Cabins in Grand Rapids, and I met TJ. TJ owns or runs this place, and he was like, how long are you staying for? And I said, I don't know, I just need, I need a bit of Wi-Fi, I need to upload footage and things like that. And he says, well, why don't you just come and stay at my place? He said, my wife's not around. So he said, why don't you just come? And he said, I know what it's like when you're out on the river. He said, I'm sure you just want a nice bed. And that's exactly what I want. So it was a great offer that I've accepted. So we're going to head off to his place. Just cruising around Grand Rapids with TJ. He's taking me around in his side-by-side. And he just brought me here. This is the spillway behind me there. So this is actually the original where the Saskatchewan River used to come through before they flooded Cedar Lake. That's kind of cool.
I stayed with TJ at Grand Rapids for about a week. The weather was also not allowing me to continue, but the timing of it was perfect, because at this moment, the story of me rescuing Ivy the dog started to go viral.
It is 19 past 8. A Canadian dog is lucky to be alive after being rescued by a Kiwi who was in the right place at the right time. YouTuber Tom Hudson has been exploring Canada solo by river for the past few months.
So I had 4 or 5 radio and TV interviews to do, on top of uploading footage and resupplying. So being at TJ's was the perfect place to be. So as much as I helped Ivy, she helped me just as much. I don't think I'd be able to be putting out these videos if that video hadn't gone viral. So I owe Ivy a big thank you. But now it's about looking forward at my next challenge. to cross Lake Winnipeg, also known as Big Windy. It'll take me about 2 weeks to get to the bottom, and this lake is no joke. I'm taking it very seriously, as the weather and swell can change very quickly, and there's not a lot around as far as help goes. So, here we go. And please excuse my voiceovers. I've currently got a chest infection.
Man, there's some big mosquitoes around here. Awesome. Cheers, guys. Appreciate everything.
Windy's ass for me.
Will do. Have a good one.
So once again, please like, share, subscribe, and say hi in the comments below. And if you want to support my channel in a bigger way, then please consider becoming a patron, where you'll get first opportunity to come sailing with me, real-time updates, and much more. Just click the link in the description below. And thanks for watching.